Hi, welcome back. Today we are talking about void spotters. Now, full disclosure, this is my secondary class when I give myself my own character sheet. So I know it well, but not as well as a native void spotter would. Unfortunately, I've known a couple of void spotters personally, so I've been able to flesh this out a little bit for you, and hopefully it'll be useful. But when I'm talking about a void spotter, in Dungeons and Dragons normal role-playing terms, they map most easily onto your rogues, right? Not in a thief sense. In fact, I have this entire rant about how thinking of rogues as thieves is missing like 90% of what makes them useful. We'll save that for another time, maybe at the holidays. But, rogues in D&D, very briefly, are resourceful. They are very well placed to take advantage of opportunities, and they can often see the lay of the land faster than other characters typically might, thanks in combination to where their ability points are usually stored and the skills they develop, what they're actually best at. For void spotters, again, they don't map exactly onto rogues, but they share the same tendency to see opportunities before other people see them, and they are very, very resourceful people. But what else they are is, let me tell you a little story to illustrate this point. Say you are a void spotter and you're trying to get by in traditional sales, at a company, for argument's sake. You go in, you go through basic training, and it's all right. You can kind of make it work, and you get out there on the floor and you start having to make calls, say. Now, in a lot of traditional sales settings, you're making call after call after call, and it's expected that you'll get a lot of no's. Void spotters will do call after call after call, but they'll feel every one of those no's at their core until it gets so upsetting that they slow right down and go, okay, there must be a better way of doing this, right? They care very deeply about the offers they make and about the fit for the person they're talking to. So, chances are, if a void spotter is approaching you, they have done more research than you want to think about into why what they're approaching you with will work for you, and they really think you should take it because it will improve things for you. That's where they're coming from a lot of the time. And because they spend so much time crafting the right offer for each person, every rejection they have hits them particularly hard because they care about the rejection way more than is possibly reasonable. And I say this with a lot of love. They care. So because of that, they will then spend more time making sure they're talking to exactly the right people. When they have something that they want to sell, like a service they're offering or a product, they will look for the people that it will help the very most, and they'll stack the odds as much in their favor as they can, and then they'll reach out to you to talk about it. That's very much their style, is to look around and see where the gaps are in the industry, in specific companies, and for specific plans of action for, like, I know one that is a funnel designer, and the reason she's quite so good is she can look at your funnel and go, you're missing this bit, and this bit, and then she'll give you a plan for how to fix it, which is incredibly helpful and one of the most void spotter things I have ever heard of. So, that's where they really shine, is when they're given the opportunity to get the lay of the land, whatever they're defining the land as, and see where the valleys are, where there should be points of interest, what the gaps are, how it can run better. That's very much their focus. And the other thing that helps them with is it means that they are very, very good at making deals with people that you won't necessarily see in public, but they're really good at those. They're really good at reaching out to people and building mutually beneficial opportunities. And they're actually very good, if they sort of have a bit of practice with things, at making content for specific types of people, which means that with a little bit of practice, they can be excellent at SEO and at, content marketing. Maybe a little less excellent at trying to appeal to the masses, but when they're very focused in on this gap, this is who fixes it, this is how it will benefit the people that it gets fixed for, they can do some really amazing things. So that's really the core of their strength. They are not very good at doing the same thing over and over. So it's never going to be a numbers game with your void spotter. They do not have the heart for that. The other things that they're maybe a little bit less good at are just off the cuff presenting. Like, these are skills they can learn, but it's not their natural sales home. I would say that one of the other things that they can fall into doing, which is a little less helpful for them, especially if they have a content marketing focus, is that they can over-optimize their own things and focus way too much on the data they're getting back from analytics and from the people they talk to. Like, they will obsess over these data points. And it's not just, oh, well, that's interesting information, let's adjust this way. They'll obsess over it and build up a story about what it means and then try to resolve that story, which can get them into trouble relatively quickly because it's taken them away from their core strength of seeing what's wrong, seeing where the gap is and fixing it. I think it honestly comes from the same mechanism where they're looking at the data, seeing what's wrong in the data and trying to fix it, but that's not how data works. Data is diagnostic. It's not a thing to solve on its own, and you can wind up chasing your tail if that's what you're trying to do. Especially when, you tell yourself what it means. But yeah, if I had to sum up void spotters, I would say that they're basically your snipers. They will zero in on exactly what they want to have happen. They will stack the odds and conditions in their favor, and then they'll go for it. And it's really impressive how well they do when they're working in alignment with that. So that's another one of the character classes. If this does not sound like you, don't fret, there's still another 5. I covered Dream Singers in another video. There will be more coming out, and no doubt we'll talk more about how this plays out practically over time. But if this is you, comment below and let me know what most resonated from what I've just said. And again, if you've liked this video, hit the like button. It really helps out the channel, and we are growing and still very small, so very helpful. We'd love if you did that. And if you want to see more of these things, then go ahead and hit subscribe and you'll be notified when new videos come in, including our wonderful podcast that we do on Fridays with these different guests, and we figure out the elementals, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, subscribe, hit the like button, comment if this is you, and let me know what works, what doesn't, what your experience has been. And I will see you in the next video.